In this section, we're going to determine whether a relation is a function or not. So we know it's a function if for every x there is only one y, and x cannot have more than one y go to it. So we can look at our first set, order pairs. It is a function because there's, for all our x's, we have -7, 2, 1, and -3. None of them repeat, so we know it's going to be a function. It's not a function because we have two x values that are 4. So that means that that 4 should only have one y, but it doesn't. It has 2. When we look at the table, same idea. It's a function because there's only one of every x. Here there's 2 4s, so not a function. When we look at a graph, we use what's called the vertical line test. You probably remember that from middle school. You take your pen and you create a line, and as long as it only hits one point on that line, then it's a function. If you come over here and you do the exact same thing, I'm just going to leave my pen right there. This function, or this relation, has two of the same x values for a y, so that is why it's not a function. And let's repeat that again. If I draw a line right here, this x, which is -1, corresponds to that 4 and corresponds to that -4. So you can't have two of the same y's. Okay. Mapping, same idea. Our input is our x. These inputs only go to one output. Whereas over here, it's not a function because this 1 is going to 2 outputs. So it cannot be a function. So do these mappings represent a function? In our first example, 1 goes to -1, 3 goes to 4, 5 also goes to 4, and 7 goes to 6, but that's completely okay because we're allowed to have double the amount of y's, or this y being replicated. So that is yes. Over here, if you notice, this 0 is going to 0, and it's also going to -1. It can't go to two outputs or y values, so no, not a function. We're going to quickly go through these. This is almost the same as the one in the examples. If I were to draw a line, do the vertical line test, it's hitting more than one point, so no. If I do the vertical line test, it only hits one point throughout the whole thing, so yes, it's a function. I could even just draw a line here and see that it's hitting 2 points, so no. Same thing here, if I just draw a line, no. Here, it's only hitting one y at a time for the x's, so no. Oh, so yes, sorry, it's a function. Same thing here, yes, it's a function. The last two are the two you have to pay the most attention to. Here, this is an open circle, which means it does not correlate to that 2, because if you were to draw a line through, you would notice it hits the 2 points, so you would think not a function. But since it's an open circle, it's actually not going to that 2, so yes, it's a function. If it had a closed circle there, closed would mean no, but since it's open, it's yes. So over here is the same idea. It's an open circle, closed circle, so yes, it's a function. Last example is just an Imagine Math question that I think you might have a little struggle with, so I just want to go through it. It says, the function h of d gives the percent of the humidity in a house after the number of days of rain d. The meaning of each equation below can be written in words. For each equation, drag the statement that has the same meaning as the equation into the spot next to it. So D is going to be days. So we're going to input days to figure out the percent of humidity. So inputting to get this output. So let's see. Let's look at the answers first and see which ones most go with it. So it says after 5 days there'd be 50% humidity. After D days, 70%. And after 3 days, K%. And we just know that because we talked about it up here. D is number of days it rains, and then we get the humidity. So let's match it up top here. So after 5 days of rain, there will be 50% humidity. This guy's going in our first box. After D days, so which one's the D days? Right here, there will be 70% humidity in the house after D days, so that's our second answer. And then the last one, there's only 2 answers that have K and 3 in it, but it's going to be this one because it says the percent of humidity in the house after 3 days is K. Alright, stop by office hours if you have any questions.